great.
I want to touch on motivation because I've been having some fun thoughts, my friends, and it clicked again for me. So actually, some of you might not know this. So because I was out on my own at 16 and my life was miserable, I was desperate to find like the secrets for success and happiness. And so I started reading and studying and paying attention. And I came across morning routines when I was like 17 or 18. So I started practicing a morning routine, 18, 19 especially, I started hitting it. And I've stuck to a morning routine, pretty much the same morning routine since I was 18 or 19 years old. So we're pushing 24, 25 years. And when people ask me like, what was it that made the biggest positive difference in your life? How are you able to make a total transformation? I often accredit the morning routine. Just getting up each morning and starting the day right. Because our lives, your life, your kids' lives is merely the sum total of your days. That's what it is. That's what life is. It's just adding all your days together. So your life is made up of your days. And so the more often we help our days go well, then life goes well. And the key, you ready for this? I know it's so simple. The key to helping your days go well is to start them well. Start in the morning right and the day goes right. So I'm going to do this. How many of you play a musical instrument? Anybody? Check it out. All right. Like Angela or Emily, which instrument do you play? You can just throw it in the chat, or you can turn on your mic real quick. Or all of you.
I played the piano.
Okay, fantastic.
Same.
Same, piano? Awesome. So I imagine because you both play the piano, have you ever sat down at a piano that's out of tune and start making music on that thing? I probably wouldn't even recognize it. I'd be like, this sounds great. I'm like, it's out of tune, right? The piano has to be tuned. And what's interesting is you got to have the tuner come over and he's got to work on it, especially when it's moved. They got to come over and they got to get it in. After it's played a little bit, they got to come over and get it dialed in. And they're actually, you know what they're doing? They're getting the right amount of tension in the piano, which is super awesome. So I'm learning how to play the violin. And I've been told it's only hard for the first 10 years. So I'm feeling pretty enthusiastic about that. And
What about year in?
I'm not even that far in because I don't practice enough. But what I've learned with the violin, like a violin, a guitar, a cello, do you know how often they have to be tuned? Any violinists in here, or cellists, guitarists, how often do they have to be tuned? Every single time you pick it up, you tune it because you want it to be tuned and then in pitch. And so I got to think about that. And at first I was like, this is so ridiculous. Can't they create a violin that stays tuned? Right? What's wrong with these things? But you buy a what are those called? The Stradivarius or something? You buy one of those, $10 million violins, still needs to be tuned. And let's say, for example, you do 2 or 3 performances that day. You know how many times you'd have to tune it? Right before each performance. And in fact, mid-performance, if you go to a symphony and there's a break, they'll come back in before the break's over and they'll quickly tune up. And so I want you to take that same metaphor and apply it to your day. Every single morning, you and I need to tune and calibrate our minds, our hearts, our mindset, our heart set. Like, get ready for the day. And when you do it for our kids, because during the night, for some reason,
we get out of tune.
We get out of tune. I don't know what's going on. You wake up and sometimes you just wake up grumpy. Anybody ever done that? I'm probably the only one. But sometimes you just wake up ornery, and people say silly things like, oh, I got on the wrong side of the bed. I'm like, that's ridiculous. My bed doesn't have a wrong side. It's all good.
But I think this is the important principle to understand, because yes, sometimes we do get out of bed on the wrong side. not that there's a wrong side, but that we feel off.
Yep.
And the key is to not just accept that, oh, I'm off. Okay, I guess I'll just be off today. But to tune yourself up. That's the power we have every single morning. And that's the power of a morning routine. Every single morning, we have the chance to start again and to get ourselves in tune for the day. We choose our emotions. We set our intentions of how we're going to be throughout the day, like how we're going to interact with our family, how we're going to manage the schooling, right? How we're going to interact with our spouse and our kids. Like all of these things are what we get to choose starting the day. So, and we love to, of course, talk all this. This is home education coaching, but our entire approach, as we've mentioned before, is holistic. Everything matters. The way you get up in the morning affects your schooling day.
Well, and if I can jump in, I was just sitting here thinking, wouldn't you agree that this is one of the most important skills we can teach our children? Is how to start the day and how to have good days, how to get tuned up. Because what good is a world-class education if we've got a broken mindset?
Yeah, what good is knowing all the information in the world and being
miserable?
Scientist or mathematician or whatever, but being miserable.
Or having all the skills and no motivation. You know how to change the world, but you don't feel like doing it because you never learned how to tune yourself up in the morning. So I would suggest and invite that one of the most important things you do in your, I was going to call it your homeschool, right? In your home education philosophy and strategy and program.
Holistic life education. We're trying to come up with
the whole, yeah. But when you dive into it, learn how to start your days right by getting tuned up. Get your kids tuned up. See yourself as an instrument. We are, aren't we? Isn't your brain and your body an instrument? So every morning, get your instrument and tune it up. And when your cute little instruments wake up, help them tune up too. Right? Tune them up with smiles or songs or quotes or ideas or stories. Get their mind right. Because if we wake up in a funky mindset, anybody have a problem kicking that and it sticks with you all day? I'm the only one. Man, you guys are amazing. This is incredible, right? We just wake up and you're like, if you don't do something about it, it sticks. Anybody had a teenage daughter that just, it got stuck out of tune for a couple weeks? Anyone? Yeah. And you're like, why are you still upset? Because last week he said that. I'm like, oh man, let it go. Then you can sing Let It Go from like Frozen. The littles will love that. The big ones, they don't love it anymore. I think it's annoying. Who's with me here? You feeling this? That you got to do this. Let's get tuned up. And now we might make the error like I did. This is so dumb. Why do I have to tune this every time? It's the same every day. Yesterday, here, write this down. This isn't my quote, somebody else's quote. Yesterday's meals are insufficient for today's needs. Yesterday's meals are insufficient for today's needs.
And this directly ties into motivation because that's essentially what it is. When you tune yourself up, you're remotivating yourself every day. Like people think, and we've said this before, that, you just either have motivation or you don't. You're either like Greg Denning or you're not. And the truth is he was not born like this, okay? He's learned to remotivate himself every single day. In fact, multiple times per day, he remotivates himself. And I do the same because you can't expect to just get motivated and that's going to last you for days or weeks or months. It doesn't work. Just like you can't eat today and expect that's going to last. You have to be remotivated every single day, sometimes multiple times per day. And it's easy to do that because all you've got to do is listen to something inspiring, read something inspiring, take some breaths, release tension, set a new intention. Like it really can take a matter of moments to switch it. But when we realize that it's something we have to be consciously and intentionally doing, then it becomes easier to do that. instead of just saying, oh, I'm off. So
I guess
yeah,
I'm
gonna-
grumpy
guess I'm
today.
grumpy
We'll
today.
be grumpy
I'm gonna
all
yell
day.
and get mad and
When you could make a shift. Sometimes it's just jumping jacks or dancing or a song. Okay, let me logistically here. How many of you have something inspiring that you could turn to every morning if you need it? Do you have something? We got something? I know I got 15 or 20 books. I've got a few songs, got some podcasts. I know no matter what mood I'm in, I can turn those on and create a shift pretty quickly. And I've gotten to a place because of training, I've gotten to a place where I can pretty quickly, like, I can do some jumping jacks, or I like just kind of hitting my chest, moving, and oh yeah. And I can get back in the zone. I can shift it. So don't stay there. Don't wake up like, and don't stay there. If you notice it, man, get out of it. Snap out of that. Do yourself a favor and get into some inspiring stuff.
okay.
But that's actually how to implement the pillars. That's how to get the right, the reading schedules in,
Well-
the learning. It's how to build that all in. It starts by getting the day tuned up.